Second race on the Thursday that we're going to take a look at now that we've come back into the warm conditions, which is good news for us all. This is the Pertemps Handicap hurdle. This is a grade 3 over 3 miles. Current favourites for Gordon Elliott at 8-1, and this is Glenlow. It's owned by JP McManus. As you will see from the first race, I was donning the colours of JP outside today. He was third in a race at Leopardstown in December in a 20-plus runner race, so at 8-1. So you can see that was pretty strong form to come third in such a big field. He was beaten by 8 lengths, but this was on soft ground in a qualifier for this race, so that's how he's got into here. He was a beaten 9-4 favourite, however, at Navan, won by 28-1 shot on soft to heavy ground. He was second to Oscar Knight at Naas in November, in front of Diamond Couchoir. So you can see that for me he has got a lot to find in here really. I'm not quite sure how he is the favourite at this race. There are other horses in here that I think have got a bigger chance and a lot more value to the price of the horses that I quite fancy in here. Gordon Elliott is always one to follow at the Cheltenham Festival, however I'm not quite sure he's going to be expecting anything from this horse in this race. The next one to cover off is Philip Hobbs trained Louis Vacpouch at 9-1. 6-year-old. It is a market mover in the betting already. He has come in from 20s down to 14s and now into 9s. So you can see that he is getting quite a bit of support in the market. He did win a Class 2 on soft ground, another qualifier for this at Aintree by 2 1/4 lengths. He was held up and he asserted in the last couple of furlongs up the run-in at Aintree. So you can see that he doesn't need to lead. He will settle quite nicely, especially in what looks to be quite a big field, so that's going to be quite important. He was 6th in a grade 3 after this at Chepstow on good to soft ground, with Sam Spinner, who is my fancy later on, as you'll hear in the Sunbet Stayers, in 2nd place, and Holstone in 4th. So you can see that there's quite a bit of form to that race working out nicely as well. He was beaten just under 2 lengths, even though he did finish 6th in what was a bunched finish. There was barely anything separating the first 6 or 7, so you can see that again wasn't beaten far at all, definitely involved at the finish, and I expect him to be involved here again. He did win a Class 3 also by a head, beating Orlando Bloom and Calta Rico, who's another horse that I do tend to back quite a lot myself in lower grade races, so for me that's quite nice. He does have 11 stone 2 on his back in here, so he has got quite a bit of weight to carry, not as much as some of the horses, but again there are some horses with a lot less weight in here. So the next one that I'm just going to have a look at is Tommy Rapper for Dan Skelton, currently 16-1, and he carries 10 stone 11, so you can see that already that he's got to carry a little bit less weight than the 2 market principals. 3 straight wins, a Class 5 maiden on soft ground staying on late, a 1 by a length from Book of Gold, but that form is not quite working out. So again, that race, although it was a win and a confidence boost, with the form not being great and very suspect to say the least, I think it's good that he's had other wins and coming in here with those wins behind him. He then won a Class 4 race where he was just pushed out, and he was a 20 length winner on soft ground in February. This was for Bridget Andrews, who was on board, who, for me, it's nice just to mention the female jockeys. Like I say, we all know the flat story at the moment that's going around with Josephine Gordon, who's winning left, right and centre again, and racing for Godolphin. So it's nice to see the likes of Bridget Andrews winning races, and certainly Bryony Frost and Lizzie Kelly. So it's nice just to see the female jockeys getting mentions. He then came out again and won a Class 2 race again for Bridget Andrews, at this time at Haydock in February when he was 5-1. He beat Theo's Charm and Isaac Town Lad, so again they're reliable yardsticks for that type of race. He has got to step up from Class 2s up into a grade 3 race, but as you can see, as he's unbeaten, you just never quite know what's going to be coming. Another one in here is another one for Gordon Elliott. Now this is one that I quite like at 16-1. This is Delta Work, just a 5-year-old, so he's one of the younger horses in the race. He has got to carry 10 stone 10, so again not exactly a welter burden of weight to carry. Although he has he's had no wins since May 2017, it is quite strong form when you look into it. He was 3rd behind Early Doors and Mary DeVee. He was third to Sandcrow and Jets, who we've mentioned in previous podcasts, and Sandcrow for me is all the rage. He was second behind Fabulous Saga, who then came out afterwards and absolutely bolted up by 50 plus lengths. So you can see that form does look quite strong. He was fourth in another race, beaten just 3 lengths in a race won by Total Recall with Oscar Knight, who again we've mentioned, and Flawless Escape was in there in front of him as well. So you can see that again on the races that we've already looked at, that you've got to class that as pretty strong form. He was third behind Kilfenora and Call the Taxi. These have all been on soft or heavy ground, so I don't think the ground at Cheltenham this year is going to pose any problems to this horse either. Last horse to talk about in this race is Bagsgroove for Harry Fry, currently at 20 to 1, a 7-year-old carrying 11 stone 2. Is he going to run in here? We're not too sure, but if he does, he should be involved when it comes to the finish. Harry Fry's not in the best of form at the moment, but if this horse does run and run well, it could then push him on for the rest of the season. When it comes to Grade 3 races, he doesn't exactly have the strongest form, and the same can be said about listed form, where he was 8th of 18 at 7 to 1 and 10th of 16 at 10 to 1. In between both those runs, he did have 2 Class 2 victories, one at Aintree and one at Kempton, where he was 3 to 1 and 2 to 1 favourite on both occasions. He did beat my Glenfargus Fancy, the Last Samurai, in the race as well. Now, although it's the wrong distance for the Last Samurai, for it's decent form. It shows that he can go when he needs to, and it's good just to tie a little bit of form into it. It's not the best renewal of the race for me this year, but my fancies would definitely be Delta Work and Tommy Rapper, both with plenty of each way value, both unexposed. And it'll be interesting to see who rides Tommy Rapper, whether Dan Skelton is going to stick with Bridget Andrews or whether Harry is going to take over the ride. Those are the 2 horses that I fancy for this race. Like I say, not the best renewal of it, but still, to be a Grade 3 at Cheltenham, it will take some winning and it'd be a nice little win for somebody in this race.